What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Monday weather update for Monday, November 18th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily weather update on all things weather for the United States, such as severe weather, tropical weather, winter weather, flooding, drought updates, and everything else in between. We always start our day with a weather headline, and then we go through all the weather happenings across the United States, and I do go through the models and show you what I'm seeing on the models and what I think may happen based on model projections. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe down below, give this a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below. Today's weather headline takes us out to the Pacific Northwest, and this comes from the Weather Prediction Center, which is a forecasting office of the National Weather Service, and they say a powerful storm system will bring heavy mountain snowfall, rain, and high winds to the Pacific Northwest and Northern California through midweek. Numerous flash floods, hazardous travel, power outages, and tree damage can be expected as the storm reaches max intensity on Wednesday. And I've been talking about this storm system for a while. It's already been a rather active pattern there, and this storm system is looking really impressive. In fact, it's going to be a long duration event. Some are calling it an atmospheric river, and it may be fair to call it that because this is going to be a very long duration weather event that lasts several days, and behind us there could still be even more rain and mountain snows that impact the Pacific Northwest. Let's take a look at the satellite loop for the Pacific, and you can see here is that storm system. Here it is in its early stages. It's going to get stronger as it heads towards the west coast, and it is really going to bomb out before all the activity starts to come onshore tomorrow night and into Wednesday. So if you live anywhere from Washington, Oregon, especially Northern California, start preparing now because this is going to be a significant storm system for you. Taking a look at the rest of the United States, we do have this storm system that is in the midsection of the country, and with that there are still some showers and thunderstorms along us, and there is still the threat of severe weather for today. Yes, the threat area did get expanded. Here's the latest radar. We can see here there is beneficial rain for a lot of people who do need rain. Chicago, places in Iowa, places in Kansas City and Kansas itself. St. Louis, you're not seeing anything yet. We'll see if we can get anything for you down the line. Arkansas, there is a line that is starting to make its way towards you, as is eastern Texas. We're starting to see a line get going as well. Oklahoma is seeing some rainfall, as is western Kansas, and Nebraska, much needed precipitation for you today as well. Taking a look at the national hazards map, and you do see there are quite a few hazards listed here. A big reason for that is that storm system that is going to hit the west coast, and you can see winter storm warnings are now up for Northern California, Oregon, and portions of the state of Washington. Also, there are flood watches, high wind warnings. Yes, it is looking to be one heck of a storm for you. There are wind advisories up for the central portions of the United States, as there will be some wind with that area of low pressure. Taking a look at the tropical outlook, and we can see next 48 hours nothing, and over the next 7 days nothing. Hopefully we can finally put to rest the tropical season. I think everybody would be happy with that. I know I would be, because that last storm, man, it really threw the models for a loop. Alright, taking a look at severe weather, and we should go back and take a look at yesterday. There were some radar observed tornadoes. Now, there's probably going to be storm surveys that get done in portions of Oklahoma to see if anything actually gets confirmed. I know it says 6 reports here. We'll have to see how many of those actually end up being tornadoes. And it's very possible they could be. Wind reports, there were 11 of them yesterday. There was actually a hail report yesterday. I know SPC was going less than 5% for hail risk, but there was a hail report. Total reports 18. There already have been a few wind reports today in Texas and Oklahoma, 11 of them. For the rest of today, there is now a slight risk of severe weather across portions of Louisiana, extreme eastern Texas, and portions of southern Arkansas. There is also a rather large marginal risk that has been added now all the way up to Lincoln, Nebraska from the Gulf Coast, New Orleans. This includes you. And we can see there is an isolated tornado risk with a 5% tornado area in Louisiana. Wind is 15%, and hail is, again, less than 5%, but hey, we cannot rule out some isolated hail, and it does look like here they're saying that there is the increasing risk for a couple tornadic supercells by late this afternoon across eastern Texas, western Louisiana, and southern Arkansas. Then we move on to Tuesday. There's the marginal risk of severe weather from New Orleans on up into portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, this includes you, and western Florida Panhandle. Small tornado risk, wind risk, hail less than 5% once again. Day 3, there is a risk on Wednesday, marginal for South Carolina and portions of North Carolina. This does include Raleigh, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Columbia, South Carolina. And then days 4 to 8 at this time are quiet for now. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center, we do see there are multiple slight risk areas for excessive rainfall. There is one today for portions of Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Surrounding that, there is a marginal risk. There is also a marginal risk up for portions of Kansas and Nebraska. Then day 2, we do see a marginal risk is now up for portions of Pacific Northwest, Washington, California, Oregon. That includes you. Slight risk from Louisiana through southern Alabama, Mississippi, and western Florida Panhandle. And day 3, there is a slight risk up for portions of northern California. It wouldn't surprise me if the day 2, which would be tomorrow, and the day 3 get upgraded, meaning tomorrow probably will go to slight risk maybe out there, and maybe on Wednesday this could get upgraded to a moderate risk because this storm system is really looking impressive at this point. Now let's take a look at the precipitation totals from the Weather Prediction Center, and wait till you see this. This is really impressive for the next 7 days, which is what we want to look at. And we can see those yellows, the golden colors, continue to exist in Northern California and southwest portions of Oregon. Yes, that is 10 to 15 plus inches of rainfall, which that's going to be too much rainfall. Even in 7 days, that is just way too much rainfall. Flooding is going to be an issue. Wind is going to be an issue. Mudslides, mountain snows will be measured in the feet. Power outages are almost certain at this point, and I could see people being evacuated because flooding just gets so bad in that area. In the Gulf Coast region, we do see heavy rainfall still expected as some energy, what's left from Sarah, does get ejected into the front that's going to come through. So eastern Louisiana, New Orleans, this includes you, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, western Florida, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall does seem appropriate for you. Locally, higher amounts. There's going to be really heavy rainfall in short periods of time. And in the Northeast, you can see there is more precipitation being shown on the map than we saw, say, last week, because there's going to be a storm system that develops, and it's not going to move much. It's going to be slow, so there'll be periods of showers, rain, maybe even higher elevation snows could be possible, as there will be some cold air with this system, and you're also seeing some higher precipitation in the upper Midwest from a storm system as well. We'll take a look at that on the models in just a moment. Here is the latest NamRun, and we're going to keep this, I think we're just going to keep this at the national level because there is so much to talk about here. First off, here's a storm system that is going to head into the upper Midwest and the northern plains, and yes, some of that could change over to snow in North Dakota and northwest Minnesota, and you could see some accumulations with that. Then, that being on Tuesday, then let's take a look in the southeast. Look at this. Here's that heavy rainfall that comes along that front. For some areas, it's going to be brief. For others, it could last a few hours. You also see Tuesday afternoon, here comes the beginning of that storm system on the west coast. And as you head into tomorrow night, that storm system is really going to get going. At the same time, tomorrow night, you are going to have very heavy rainfall across the Florida Panhandle. Precipitable water values, which measures the moisture content in the atmosphere and how much moisture can be released at a time, will be really high. So 2+ inch per hour rates could be possible in any of these areas. You see these reds and oranges. As we advance this even further, we come into very early Wednesday morning. You can see the heavier rains are starting to come on shore in Northern California and Oregon and the mountain snows. At that point, mountain snow fall rates are starting to get to 1 to 2 inches per hour, and heck, there could even be 3 inches per hour in some locations. And you can see this rainfall, it just continues all day long throughout the day on Wednesday. Now, also what we see on Wednesday here in the NAM, let's backtrack this a little bit. A new low starts to develop over Ohio and Lake Erie. We'll have to watch how that actually unfolds. There is still discrepancy in the models. Just where will that low develop? No matter where it develops, it is going to be slow to move. You can see it develops Wednesday night into Thursday. It's actually not going to clear the Northeast until the end of next weekend because the pattern is just basically stuck and stalled. And take a look at this on Thursday. Oregon, California. Yes, it is still raining, and maybe at this point, by the time we get into Thursday evening, that's some heavier rain starting to make its way up to Washington. You'll see rain all along, but that fire hose of moisture could eventually, shift back north and impact you. You also see here's that low on the NAM. This is hour 84. It's still stalled over the Great Lakes, and you do see a new low tries to get going somewhere over New England. Let's take a look at the GFS for that, and we can see here I will advance the GFS to Thursday. You can see the GFS tries to develop a new low as early as Thursday morning over portions of Long Island. Here's the old low, which will eventually decay and transfer its energy probably inland. And you can also see on the GFS very heavy rainfalls in Northern California. And as I advance this even further, we're now beyond where the NAM could go. We're now coming into Friday morning, and you can see heavy rainfall continues on the west coast, and then in the east coast, take a look at this. That new low really gets going. And in portions of New York State, things do flip to snow, and I think that is possible that there will be some snow. If the temperatures are cold enough, and you can see, this starts when it's still dark, snow would accumulate in those areas. As I advance this into Friday afternoon, look at this on the west coast. You are still seeing heavy rainfall. And then in the south at this time, we have to mention this. The high temperatures and the low temperatures are going to be below average because of this system that is just parked in the east and probably will not clear the picture until late Saturday or at some point on Sunday. We can see here, we are now into Saturday, and it's still ongoing. Very windy conditions will persist in the east, and oh, look at this on Saturday. It's still raining on the west coast. Like I said, a very long duration system. The winds will continue in the east on Saturday, and Sunday, yeah, it's still windy as well, but take a look at this. You do finally get a break on the west coast before, yeah, another storm system comes into the picture. Sorry, but it is just going to be incredible what is setting up in the west. And then we have to watch. There could be a series of smaller systems that set up in the Great Lakes. Where they track will be key, because there could be some snow showers up in the portions of New England as we head into Thanksgiving week. Oh yes, a big travel week. And I'll tell you what, if you are north of, say, I-40, maybe even further north than that, I think temperatures will remain slightly below average. We may see a day that warms up, but look at this on the GFS. Yet again, you're seeing more colder air moving into the east. This is a complete pattern change. We're not going to be seeing these days like today. Here in Northeast Philadelphia, where I'm at right now, it's 66 degrees. We can say goodbye to that after a few days from now, because temperatures, well, I mean, we'll have some days in the 50s, but we'll probably also have a few days that just do not get out of the 40s along that I-95 corridor. Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., you'll probably have more 50-degree days. And away from 95, yes, it'll be even colder than that. The lake effect snow machines will be starting up in the lakes, and there could be some accumulation. And in the south, look at this. You can see here, just this gradient sets up, so yeah, you're not looking to be much above average either. There'll be a few periods in between. And then if I took the GFS out even further, yeah, GFS is signaling to end this month and to start December, it could be a cold pattern. we'll have to just hold off and see if that actually happens. But things are not looking as quiet as they were. There's going to be a lot of activity, and eventually, maybe by the time we get to Thanksgiving, if I rewind us, maybe by the time we get to Thanksgiving, we can actually start to get a little bit quieter in the West Coast. But yeah, if you're in Northern California and portions of Oregon, start preparing for 10 to 15 plus inches of rainfall along the coast and, well, heck, feet of snow in the mountains of California and Oregon, and even in portions of Washington and further east. Yes, you will see snow as well. Let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Above average in the south, you're starting to see near normal show up in the Carolinas. It's still showing above average in the north. I think second half of this, I think that's really overdone, because with that low pressure system that's just going to be slowly meandering, this upper level feature, it is not going to be above average in the northeast. We can see precipitation slightly below average along the coast, near normal in between, well above average for places in the northwest, the mid-south below average, and we can see here 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Again, this above average in the northeast, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Getting a little bit further out there still remains a question mark, but what we do know is from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, below average in the northeast. Below average in the Pacific Northwest, I agree there. Slightly above average along the Gulf Coast region. And precipitation, slightly below average in the northeast. Once we get past this storm system late this week, there will be potentially some more systems, but they'll be faster moving and they won't have a whole lot of moisture. Slightly above average precipitation would continue on the west coast. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Monday weather update. Remember, you can follow me over on Blue Sky at Climate Data Report and over on X at Climate Data RPT. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. I will see you guys all again next time, which I believe will be tomorrow, because as you see, there's a lot to talk about, so we'll have to update on this again tomorrow. Until I see you again tomorrow, have a fantastic Monday afternoon. Thanks for watching.